Good morning, all of you. Yesterday we discussed the micro environmental factors, and today's topic is macro environmental factors. Before discussing macro environmental factors, we have three more factors under micro environment. That is, three more additional factors are covering under micro environment. That is financiers, regulators, then strategic partners. Okay, so we are just understanding these three factors. First one, financiers. Financiers simply means any group of persons or institutions, they are providing finance or funds to the organization. The major players are commercial banks, money lending institutions, private persons, etc. So, from whom the business organization is collecting finance or fund, that group of persons or that institutions are called financiers. Okay. In business organization, in addition to the financing capacities of those institutions, their policies and strategies, then attitudes, ability to provide non-financial assistance, etc., are have very important role. That is, the policies and strategies of financiers, and at the same time the ability to provide non-financial assistance to us, these factors are considering in business organizations. Okay, so financiers has the more, that is, they have more importance in our business organization, because we know that finance is the main factor in every organization. Okay, for the running of every organization, fund is essential. Without any financial resource, there is no business, that is, there is no existence to business. So for every actions, for every operations in the organization, fund or money is very important. Okay, for a business organization, if there is a contingency relating to the finance, and there should be available the service of financiers. Okay, so for every organization, a group of financiers are there. Okay, in the absence of a single financier, the organization can make the help of other financiers. So there should be a linkage, that is a good connection between the organization and financiers. It is very helpful for the smooth running of our organization. So financiers have the more important role in the organization. Okay, and the second one is that regulators. Regulators, we simply means the government agencies. Okay, they have the authority to control and at the same time to influence an organization's policies and practices. We know that government organizations or government agencies have the influence in our organization. They are making some policies or some rules and regulations to control or to protect our businesses. So such such type of agencies, government agencies may be central government agencies or state government agencies, whatever may be the regulation, it may be central or state, whatever may be the regulation, such type of policies or such type of regulations are influencing our operations in the organization. So every organization want to make the strategies of government agencies or the want to implement the policies of government agencies in every organization. Okay, then next one is that strategic partners. Strategic partners simply means they are the organizations and individuals with whom the firm is in an understanding for the benefit of the organization. Okay, such strategic partners may influence the organization's activities in various ways. That is, some group of persons or some organizations, and with these organizations, our business has some understanding. Okay, and the organizations, that is the strategic partners and our organization will be operating for the benefit of for the mutual benefit. Okay, and their services will provide some benefits to our organization. Okay, there is a mutual understanding between these partners and our organization. So these three more factors are covering under micro environmental factors, and next we are moving macro environmental factors. Okay, we know that macro environmental factors are external to the organization and it will determine the opportunities and threats of a business organization. Okay, mainly the opportunities and threats are revealed by analyzing macro environmental factors. Okay, and these factors are more uncontrollable to the management. Okay, the management has no power to influence such factors. It is highly uncontrollable to the business organization, and the success of a company depends upon its adaptability to the business environment. And a firm cannot exercise effective control on the factors of macro environment, and only the degree of adaptability it has to that particular environment can direct it to the success. Okay, that is, the organization cannot exist without the implementing such changes in the organization. The degree of adaptability will determine the success of every organization. We have no control on such factors, but we want to implement or we want to adapt such changes in our organization. Otherwise, we cannot compete or we cannot exist in this competitive world. Okay, so such factors are included under macro environmental factors, and a lot of macro environmental factors are there. Economic environmental factors is there, political environmental factors is there, government factors are there, then legal environmental factors are there, social environmental factors are there, socio-cultural environmental factors are there, demographic environmental factors are there, natural environmental factors are there, technological environmental factors are there, labor environmental factors are there. All these factors are covering under macro environmental factors, and in coming classes we will discuss all these environmental factors in a detailed manner. And now we are discussing the important, that is first environmental factor, that is economic environmental factors. Okay, it is the part of macro environmental factors, and we know that what is economic environmental factors. What is economical environment? Economic environment, it refers to the nature and direction of the economy within which business organizations are to function. Okay, it consists of economic conditions, economic policies, industrial policies, economic system, etc. All these factors are covering under economic environment. These are mainly external factors to the organization, and organization have no control in these factors. Okay, we know that. What is economic environment? What is economic environment? Tell me. It contains the economic system of a country, or in which economic system every organization is exist. Okay, then economic there are important economic factors are there. First one is degree of economic development. That is, extent of development of a country's economy can exert influence on the business prosperity in many ways. That is, factors like nature and size of demand, government policies affecting business, etc. have derived basically from the level of economic development of a nation. And economies can be classified into three, as low income economy, middle income economy, and high income economy. That is on the basis of degree of development. We know that low income economy, it implies in the underdeveloped nations, that is their income level, the demand level, it will be very low in the case of low income nations. And middle income economy simply means it is prevailing in the developing nations. We know that the stage is in a growing stage, that is the economy is in a growing trend. The income level will be increasing, the demand level will be increasing, the investment and saving pattern will be increasing in such nations. And we know that high income countries, that is developed nations, are there. Okay, the price level will be very high, the demand will be very high, their GDP will be very high, and at the same time the national income level will be very high for such countries. So the degree of economic development will be influence the operations of a business organization. Okay, then next point is that structure of the economy. What is the structure? Mainly the economic structure include three sectors, that is primary sector or agricultural sector, secondary sector or industrial sector, then tertiary sector, that is service sector. Okay, we know that what is agricultural sector. It mainly focusing on the agricultural activities, agriculture and allied activities. Then secondary sector, we know that it mainly focusing on the industrial affairs, and tertiary sector, it include the service sector, that is service related affairs are included under tertiary sector. And like that, there is large, medium and small sectors. Integration of the domestic economy with the world economy, etc. are impartial to business, because these factors designate the prospectus of different types of businesses, and at the same time the character of each sector and its various components has bearing on the businesses. Okay, that is the features or the characteristics of agricultural sector, industrial sector, service sector. It will, all these characteristics will influence the operations of the businesses. Okay, every type of organizations will affect all these factors. So the structure, that is the framework of the economy, it will affect the business decisions in the organization. Okay, and next point is that economic policies. Economic policies include industrial policy, trade policy, foreign exchange policy, monetary policy, fiscal policy, then foreign investment and technology policy, etc. All these are including under economic policies, and all these policies have high influence on business operations. That is, while taking the business decisions, the organization or the management should consider all these economic policies. Okay, for some organization, a single or particular policy will be very high benefit, that is, it will be beneficial to some organizations only. But for some organizations, it may create some loss to the organization. So every organization want to analyze the impact of new policies in our organization. Okay, is it beneficial or not? The government policies will provide a platform or a guideline to the working environment of the organization. Okay, we cannot avoid those policies from our organization. Okay, if there is, for example, if there is a change in the economic condition, we know that there is boom, then depression, recession, etc. If there is a change in this condition, okay, that particular change will affect our organization. So a policy which is implemented at the time of boom period, that particular policy will affect the operations, and it may be beneficial at the boom period only. Okay, so it will create some losses at the time of depression or at the time of recession. Okay, is it okay? So, the economic policies of government will influence the business decisions. There is no doubt it will influence the business operations. Okay. Then policies include, first one, industrial policy. Industrial policy simply means policies on industries. We know that. Okay, it will define the role and objectives of different sectors like private and public, large, medium and small, etc. Businesses would be compelled to change their operations in accordance with the new policy regime. That is, if there is a change in the industrial policy, or if there is a new policy which is implemented by the government, all the organizations are compelled to adapt such policies in every organization. Otherwise, we cannot cope up with the regulations of the government. So, every organization want to adjust their operations in accordance with the new policy of the government. Okay. That is industrial policies. And next one is that trade policy. Policy mainly include the import and export policies. Okay, so a preventive import policy of the government may do benefits to the home industries. That is, a change in the import policy. That is, when the government is making a change in the import policy, it may be beneficial to the home countries. That is, when we are importing the raw materials or other parts from other nations, that is from the businesses situated outside to the India, such a time the change in the import policy may be beneficial to our nation, that is to our industries. So that is related to trade policies. And the next one is that fiscal and monetary policies. We know that it includes the government's tactics on public expenditure and revenues. That is, mainly fiscal policies are mainly covering the public expenditure and revenue. And at the same time, it may foster business operations or it may restrain business operations. Okay, like that, the Reserve Bank of India will implement such some policies to restrain or to control the flow of credit. Okay, and this will affect the savings and investment pattern. That is, if there is a change in the policy of RBI, it will affect the operations of the business, and it will sometimes it may control or it may restrain the flow of credit from one nation to another, and at the same time it may affect the savings and investment pattern. Okay, that is fiscal and monetary policies. So policies include that is industrial policy, trade policy, then physical and monetary policies. These are the important economic policies of a nation. All these policies will affect every organization's operation. Okay, and next point, that is economic conditions. Okay, economic conditions we simply means it refers to the state of the economy in a country or region. It will change over a time. That is, year by year, or year by year it may change. We know that economic conditions, that is, there is a cycle. Economic cycle is there. It is starting from boom to depression. Different stages are there. We know all the features of these stages. Okay, in the case of boom, there will be high levels of output, and at the same time there will be rising demand. That means high level demand is there, and at the same time the income level will be very high, the production level will be very high. Okay, and for every organization it is a positive or smiling face. That is the speciality of boom. The organization can earn more and more profits during this period. Okay, so all investors or all managers or all the business owners are very happy at this time because they will get more earnings. Okay, but it is just reverse in the case of depression or recession. We know that the income level will be very low, then production or operations are very low, in a low level. demand will be very low. At that time, the organizations may suffer some losses. Okay, or the profit level will be very low at this time. It is not so happy to the investors or to the owners. Okay, they have some risk in the case of profitability, because they will suffer some losses also. Okay, so all these factors, all these stages will affect the operations of every organization. Okay, so it is very complex to survive in this stages also in the case of depression and recession. So every organization want to formulate some policies or strategies for its survival for in the future period. Okay, so at the time of boom, the strategies may be differ. Okay, but we cannot see some strategies in the case of recession. So every organization or the management want to adapt or formulate some strategies according to the conditions in the economy. Okay, otherwise we cannot exist in this competitive world. That's all regarding economic conditions. So first we discussed, that is economic environment under macro environmental factors. And next we are moving political environment. Political environmental factors are there. We know that political environment simply means the country's government's actions which may influence the operations of company or business. We know that it include the country's government's actions or their policies or their regulations. It may be cover different level like local, regional, national or international. Whatever may be the sector or whatever may be the region, the political environment has highly influential power in the organization. Okay, the management should observe the movements of the government time to time. That is, otherwise they cannot make quick decisions in the organization. Okay, for taking quick decisions in the organization, every management want to analyze the government movement. Okay, and it may be positive or progress to the organization, or it may be a negative to the organization. Whatever may be, it may be positive or negative, whatever may be, the movements of government should be analyzed in every organization. For example, we know that every year the finance minister will introduce the tax level or tax policy. There will be change in the tax level every year. So it is the important factor. It is the one of the important factor in political environment. Okay, it will affect the business operations directly. There is no doubt it will affect the business organizations directly. We know that sometimes the tax liability will be increasing. Okay, at that time it is a burden to the organization. Or sometimes the liability may be decreasing. We know that the GST, in implementation of GST in our economy, there is a single tax platform or single tax plan is there. That is goods and service tax, GST. So what is the effect of this GST in our business? It may be positive or it may be negative. So management want to analyze the implication of this GST in our organization. Okay, and what are the effect of this implementation in the profitability of the company? Okay, so we cannot predict the elements of political environment. Okay, we just adopt these changes in the organization. Okay, and major political factors are, we know that bureaucracy, corruption level, freedom of the press, tariff, trade control, employment law, environmental law, health and safety law, competition regulation, tax policy, then government stability and related changes, government involvement in trade unions and agreements, import restrictions on quality and quantity of product, then intellectual property law, consumer protection and e-commerce, etc. All these factors are covering under political environmental factors. Okay, today we discussed only the two important environmental, macro environmental factors, that is economic environmental factors and political environmental factors. And in next classes we will discuss further points, that is social environmental factors, legal environmental factors, government factors, etc. Okay, thank you all.